You got some
You
people.
guys are gonna kick
You got the
ass,
correct
just
people.
like we did.
Do you guys remember what you did last? Or do you need a
Where
camera?
are my dice?
Oh, I didn't get anybody's dice.
By the way,
I'm so used to these two always having dice.
You know
Would
what?
you like mine?
did you hear me? I came out to the kitchen. I'm like, it must have been. He must have been in here.
Must have been.
You don't want to check your fridge.
Hey, don't go ruining my surprises.
I
What'd
gave
you
you our
put in
dice.
there?
Don't.
Nothing.
It's a secret
What's
tool that'll
missing?
help us later. It's my favorite meme.
Oliver, what color are you for Stephanie?
Did you bring my dice?
Did you just call her honey like me?
What's it for Stephanie?
Oh,
I feel like. Do you want me to call her honey?
What did you say?
You guys are
What?
awesome.
Aww.
You asked.
Are we actually gonna go on a vacation in October? That weekend?
As long as William and I get one night to ourselves.
I can't freaking.
That's my plan.
That's what you.
I can't take any more days off.
It would be your normal days off on Saturday, and then not on Sunday.
It's
One
the
day.
Friday the
One day in
4th.
October, yeah.
So
I think Friday
It would-
night to
yeah.
What
Sunday morning or
what we were supposed to do? At least it was go Saturday or get there Saturday during the day,
And play.
and then play Saturday and Sunday.
I'll work an extra shift for you. I can just beep all the things.
You just have to take the Sunday off.
You gotta know how to beat
It's
things.
not till October though.
I know how to do the inventory scanning part of her job. I helped her with that. I helped her with that for like
We can play that day.
forever.
How much PTO do you get?
She gets like 24 days a year. Is that right? 22 days a year.
It's not very much.
That's a ton.
Well, we should go.
That's 4
If you
weeks.
can at all swing
That's
it,
more
that'd
than
be
4
awesome.
weeks.
Oh, I guess
I don't
maybe
get
that's.
that
I get 10 hours a month. No. No, I get more than that.
I don't know. I don't know what she gets a month. All I know is she gets 22 days a week.
The last thing that
That's not
happened.
including her
Oh,
holidays.
it's because I have been there.
Do you guys need a refresher on what you guys did last?
Yeah. And I need a cupcake.
what did we do last? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Do you
I
know?
wish
Do you
I
guys
could.
need a? Or do you know?
We were at Lucy's Forge.
Mm-hmm.
We got our trunk to follow.
Yep.
Then we went this way. The Academy of Imperial. We talked to those people.
The chunk busted through.
Yes, that's right. The trunk came through.
Busted the door.
I'm just glad you guys are still laughing about it. Me too.
That's all I wanted, babe.
And then we went up to the student ward. We got
Hannah, would you hand me a paper towel?
And there was that one guy who couldn't get the crowd to.
Oh, like
Paper
the comment.
towel.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
then
And then
I
you went, like,
did something.
listen!
Yeah. And then I think we
Hannah.
stopped there. I don't
Paper
Yep,
towel,
that's where you
please.
guys ended.
remember anything else.
You guys got Blue Pearl, the dragon one, and her crew of inventors to head
Oh,
to the
yeah.
ward, and Oleg Vikati, the superintendent of the student ward. Yep, you guys got both of them. And you guys are now about to head to the Academy of the Arcane. I think that was next on your plan, right? Okay.
Is that Felicity?
So we're trying to get people to go to the drop spot.
Job spot.
Is that what you guys are doing? Alrighty, what path do you guys want to take? First of all,
What are we doing? What?
Aaron and Hannah, are you guys okay with just like chilling for a while?
But yeah, they did it with us.
Okay. I have a lot because I wasn't planning on having any of this be like as complicated as it's turned out to be, but like I love it, so
Okay.
it's good. And while you guys are doing this, there are other people doing what?
Stretching your arm. What? You have nice muscles. Sorry.
I thought there was something on me, and I was like, because you like wiped it, and I was like, what did I have on me? What?
And I thought I'd been the person been drinking today.
I haven't had anything.
Oh, man.
Oh, but we do have.
We do. We have more cider in there.
No, I
So you guys are heading to
Might
the
want
Academy of the Arcane. What path would you ladies like to take? Wow, this is like an up or down, huh?
You're so freaking rich. What was I thinking?
Let's go this way. Come on, left hand. Here we go.
Okay.
Whatever it takes.
Alrighty then, go ahead. How quickly are you guys wanting to move? Are you moving stealthily or no?
Yeah.
I think we were just walking.
Yeah.
Stealthing at
Can't
all?
move too fast because
Right.
I don't think so.
Okay, so no stealth, no sprinting, just...
Right. No means
If you guys could give me
swift pace.
normal swift walking, you got it. Can you guys give me a D20
Lake
roll
Sacagawea.
each?
Lake Sacagawea.
What?
They're moving to Lake Sacagawea.
4.
Come on, left hand.
Left hand rolling.
18.
Team.
Good
Okay.
job, left hand.
I mean, we've all got to have someone to love, so
I just get goofy.
you're allowed to get... You don't
Oh
need to
my
apologize.
goodness, Goofy in this friendship. What?
Get out.
Please don't ever be a goofball.
I can't
Okay.
handle anymore.
None of us are.
So you guys head out along the path.
Okay.
So neat. Too pretty.
So as you turn the corner here, that you guys are coming around, you see down the block, right at this spot, you see
Right, this pot.
at this part, you see several large, hulking red figures, and
Turn around and go the other way.
they seem to be attacking some people in
Oh no.
this little area. You can't see who's behind there. All you know is that you see 3 large red slod attacking something. You hear screams and crying. It's, you know, it's a combat zone.
Dying. Bad things are happening.
Are there any soldiers already there?
You don't see any soldiers around.
Just red slod.
You can roll a perception check to see if you see anything else,
Okay.
but you don't see any soldiers.
I'll do that. Sure.
Okay.
I want to know all the things.
I'll help. Darn it. Oh, 1.
Oh, crap.
You don't
I don't see
see.
anything.
You don't see anything, but I mean, it's you're in an alley, or it's not an alley. It's like a small 2 or 3 person wide street. It's sort of the back streets, sort of where people would load into businesses and stuff. You don't really see anything. You see the slod fighting something down the. It's 1 block over. They have not seen you yet.
Yeah.
You're not stealthing. You're just
what
not.
are the red slot again?
Biggest
Giant
bad.
frog guys.
No, not. I know the slot. I mean the color.
Character knowledge, are those the biggest ones, or the medium ones, or the littlest ones?
They're the medium ones. So there's green slot, red
Yep.
slot, and blue slot.
Yep, correct. I agree.
Collect them all. Right. Green slot are the casters. They have magic.
That I remember.
Don't drink all my
Red slod
water.
are the soldiers that if they hit you, you become infected with slot eggs.
Blah.
And that almost happened to
What
me.
ones is that?
Red.
Red slod. And blue slod are giant hulking train wrecks
Those
of
are the brutes.
They're the ones,
Got that
Tanks.
the tanks. Yes.
they're the ones that took
And then
took
there's
the dragon.
gray slod, which you guys have not encountered yet, and there's a death slod, which you guys saw
Right.
fight the archdrake.
Oh, that's the Drake one. Oh.
Okay.
Never
Got
mind.
it. Thank you.
There's also the slod tadpoles, which you guys have encountered twice, I think.
Yeah.
But
So these are the soldier ones. So Lucy, what do you want to do? Shall we help those people out on our way, or should we go another way to make our way to the academy? I feel like my bleeding heart is leaning towards I need to attack things.
I need to help
Oh,
others.
man.
Makes me fight them.
Because I'm a liberal.
What do you say? What do you think?
I was on the fence, but
Please don't.
Lucy
Don't
never
get
backed
a
down
glass of
from a
water.
fight. So let's go get him.
If yours are
Yeah.
please.
Okay.
you guys are gonna go attack the
I'm
slod?
gonna go sear the shit out of him.
That's right. Fried
Okay.
them all.
Fry him all over here.
All right, you
Kinda
guys
fine
are pretty You guys are 60 feet away
Okay.
from this combat at
So
the
we
moment.
need to.
So it's 2
Yeah.
turns of... I mean, they haven't noticed you yet, so you're not in combat. You guys have 60 feet to get in range,
Okay.
Now can we stealth a little?
if you'd like. If you're trying to sneak up on them.
I was thinking about that.
You probably could advantage on your first turn.
Oh yeah.
I never remember.
Or you could take your dash actions and you both have 30 feet of movement. You guys could both be in range in one move.
And then what?
Take a bonus action to do whatever you'd like, and then go from there. Did you still have your trunk following you, Lucy? Or did you send it back to...
Yeah.
Or did you send it to the temple
Can you
ward?
tell the trunk to attack the slot?
I don't think the trunk has an attack.
I think I sent it back.
It's a non-combat.
I sent it back. It
I
doesn't have
just
anything that I
wanted
need right now.
to dive off of a balcony and slam something.
Like Beauty and the Beast style.
Yes.
Oh!
That is my vision for this crowd.
I love it.
Sorry.
I love you guys so
now
much.
I just want you all to read Rincewind.
I'm sure it's on my list.
The
What's
Color
that?
of Magic,
Color of
Discworld.
Magic.
Well, you should actually pick a Discworld book for in book club.
I
You
should.
haven't read Terry Pratchett
50.
at all.
Book 50 is now. And it's The Alchemist, because Aaron and Tim have both read it, and that's what Aaron picked, so... it's my
Yeah.
turn.
We should probably do something to celebrate differently, though.
Agreed.
50 books that we've read together. That's impressive. Most people don't read 50 books in their life.
That's true. Most people will only read about 50 books in their life, tops.
Actually, I could cast something from the.
You sure could.
Yep, you're as long as it's within range.
As long as you're within 60 feet.
Why won't it
So-
pull up?
What are you looking for?
I can't remember.
What are you looking for, love?
My spellbook isn't working.
Don't you have your cards?
No?
What spells do you have?
Well, I was trying to look up magic weapon.
You mean spiritual weapon?
Shucks.
You don't have spiritual weapon?
No, I do have spiritual weapon. I just don't
That's
have
what
any
you're
cards. But I usually use these.
Okay.
And they're not.
I have spiritual weapon and magic weapon. I was just trying to remember what each of them
Magic
were.
weapon you cast on your weapon. It becomes a +1 weapon, +1 to hit, and it turns it magical for the purposes of avoiding magic resistance. Spiritual weapon is a summoned weapon. You summon your anvil as a
might wanna
bonus
use that.
action, and you can move it as a bonus action or attack with it as a bonus action.
So summoning it is the action, and then attacking with it is the bonus action. Alright, I know what I'm doing.
Is that the way it works?
I think so. That's,
No,
you should leave it
I
open.
think that you actually summon it and attack the first move, and then you move it and attack again with bonus action.
I could
That's the way we
technically
played it
put
last time,
all
anyway.
the creatures
Oh.
over there.
I mean, I opened it right to the page the
Within
first time,
20 feet
too.
of point you choose,
And then she closed it.
Are affected. Descending order of their current hit points. And you put them to sleep. Okay. Then we could get up there. I don't know if it puts the.
Sleep is tough because
Casting time, 1 bonus action.
sleep is tough because
You
Because if you
create
don't
a
get it,
floating
if it
spectral
doesn't work,
weapon
then you
within
can do
range
anything.
that lasts for the duration of your...
it gets tough.
I know.
What does it say?
That's
What's the bonus for it?
a bonus?
Yeah, if you cast it at a higher level.
Using a spell slot second level or higher. Roll an additional 2d8 for each slot level above first.
You could. And how many do you roll total?
I don't know. I mean,
I mean, what's normal attack?
normal attack.
Sorry, under sleep. What do you roll in order to get your damage? How many d8?
Oh. 5d8.
5. So the most you would get is 45. They probably have. I don't know. They probably have 80.
You can summon it in attacking the same. It's a
HP?
bonus
So
action
this
to
wouldn't be as
cast.
effective.
It wouldn't.
If you cast it as like your highest level, you might be able to get one of them asleep,
Got it.
But not.
but you would have to roll well.
See, guys,
What is-
I'm
how many
already at
D8?
a high enough level that at some point I can make a whole group of things, fall asleep, and I could get up there and I could just stab every one of them and then be done.
Galara did that a couple
Yeah.
times.
Just wake up the townspeople, off you go. Kill the others.
We were talking about sleep because it's 8. How many d8 do you start with for
You
first
start
level?
with 5d8 and then bonus is
5.
2d8.
5d8. And so the most you would ever get is to 45. Or
At your guys' level, running with standard sleep rules, there will literally never be an in-combat time where that's useful. But if you choose to go ahead and use it, if you roll well enough, effects might... It may... Things will...
I'm already moving on to plan B.
So listen, I have a thing where everybody has cool spells, and just because it's useful at lower levels and not useful at higher levels, doesn't mean that things still won't happen. Like, you may not put everybody to sleep, but you may make everybody drowsy and get disadvantage on all their rolls. Or you may put a single target to sleep, and as the DM, I think it's bullshit that spells like that don't scale well.
yeah, they don't.
So, while yes, it is not, like, very efficient, I will always let something happen, as long as you roll well on it. If you miss,
Well,
like you
that's
miss
always-
or something, or if you have like 2 hit points,
fancy though, so
right? Exactly. So like, but if you do well, I'm not gonna just be like,
What spell slots do you have up to? You have up to 4th level?
keep this open. You're gonna use spiritual weapon. You cast it as a bonus action, and it appears, and then you use melee attack actions to move it from there, and you use bonus action to move it.
That's just what I've done this before, I think.
this is what I have.
Oh, okay. So you have up to 3rd level spell. So you could cast it as a 3rd level spell. You have dispel magic. That's amazing.
Do I like it?
Wow.
Spell magic is.
I've used it to good use before, so I like it.
Wow, that's good.
See, this is the part
thought
that
I
like,
had an
sometimes makes me
anvil.
feel like
You did.
a little dumb
I put it away.
because I don't know.
You can cast
You know what I mean?
spiritual weapon as an anvil.
I thought I had an anvil in my pocket,
Oh,
but that doesn't make any sense now that I think about it.
so
It's in your chest. Your actual physical anvil.
Well, no wonder I have to wear a size. You know what?
32 double D,
No, but okay.
69 triple H.
Oh, it's
You were
69. 69.
It's like as wide as this table. You were close.
I had dreams.
36.
Oh gosh,
What,
that's,
to be
that's a bad
smothered?
that's
anime.
too much.
That's a bad anime. That's a real bad anime. That's the size of the city right here.
Captain Power, or whatever her name is.
Power Girl.
Power Girl,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
What?
did you attack?
No,
We're working
trying
on
to
it.
plan on things.
Oh,
I was trying to make a plan, and yeah, I have a great idea, and can't use it.
You-
My idea was to.
I said
something.
I said you
I know.
could
Just
use it.
Shush. You do. Shush.
Tell me about it.
I want someone to put a full group of creatures to sleep, and then just come up on them and stab them.
Stab each
Literally, I did that with Galara.
We did that in.
Apparently, that's not going to work. So now I move on to plan B.
Plan B. Well, what's plan B?
That is attack by fire.
So shape.
Put them all asleep and attack with fire.
Yes, I like it.
Oh,
And
but
if
I
you
have
roll a
to
d20
arrange
like
this
I
step.
did,
Right.
it's gonna be great.
This is good.
She hasn't
when
got to
we
that
get
part
up
yet. You
close.
gotta tell her all about it.
Okay.
I can turn
Oh,
my
she
weapon
hasn't-
into like.
She hasn't got to that. Yeah, not yet.
Oh man.
My
She's still in the second one because it keeps stalling out.
Yeah.
I know.
So I
What do I have?
can do dissonant whispers from where we're at
Okay.
and reach them, or technically, well, this depends on how much attention you want exactly all at once. Because either way, I think we're gonna have it. But Enthrall can get everyone's attention, so that maybe we can. They'll pay attention to us instead of the people that are trying
Yeah.
to torture.
Well, I was gonna throw an anvil at
But
them.
I
so-
feel like yeah, that's gonna everything's gonna work. That's gonna work anyway. Or I can even try to disguise myself to get closer, and then stabby stab, or other things. I don't know.
What do you want to do? What sounds like the most?
She wants to whip ass.
No.
Yeah.
That game. I was like, hey, shape.
I'll see if she's online.
I don't want to play your game. I just want to talk to people at the Wheel of Time.
Who knows about oil things?
Some lady from Australia that he plays the game
Yeah, you can only
20
have
minutes a
one
day with.
creature at once.
It's more than 20 minutes a day.
Fine, whatever. Ugh, I hate war. Okay. I'm gonna
Did you just say you hate
Okay.
when we're warring?
do. Yes.
What does it do again?
So it's discordant.
What time is it in
wisdom,
Australia?
lack of
She's normally not up
pain.
this early, I think.
It's literally the opposite time of the
Psychic
day
damage.
because it's opposite
Okay.
side of the planet.
Yeah, I think.
So it's probably
And when I get
getting to be
closer,
morning
I feel
actually. Maybe she is
kind
up.
of something.
Sounds good.
Got a plan?
Yeah.
She hasn't been online for 5 hours.
Aaron's
so-
gonna start, or Persephone's gonna start.
No, I'm not doing
cast
nothing.
Dissonant whispers from 60 feet.
Okay.
Never gonna dance again.
What?
It's Careless Whisper, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's funny.
Um,
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead and what is it? It's a wisdom save.
Yeah. Target must make wisdom saving throw. Failed save takes 3d6 psychic damage. Must immediately use its reaction if available to move as far as its speed allows away from you. Doesn't move into obviously dangerous ground. And then on a successful save, the target takes half as much damage. Doesn't have to move.
Did it roll a 1?
Rolled a 20.
Oh,
wow.
Well, do I... Wait.
you don't have to do
Oh, I don't have to do
anything.
anything? I just cast it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
So when you cast this spell...
Oh no.
Oh. Cool. Okay,
What do you wanna-
whatever.
what do
All
you-
ideas suck.
what do you
Suck.
wanna-
Oh, whatever.
Good idea.
it's not your fault. I rolled a 20 on my first roll of the night.
I know,
Okay.
but everything...
What do you want to whisper? Dissonant whispers. You whisper something.
Oh, well...
You don't have to whisper something. You could just say like it's vaguely disembodied. voices.
Dis whatever melody. What is the card say?
Discordant melody.
It's discordant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
discordant. Yeah.
Okay. So suddenly, 60 feet down the way, at this corner, these 3 red slod are in the midst of attacking something that you can't see around the corner, and suddenly the furthest one back like jerks its head back and like looks around a little bit and looks confused, and then immediately goes back to fighting.
Good job.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast
Okay, you get more turns.
spiritual weapon.
Okay, go ahead and cast spiritual weapon. What do you want to make it appear as?
An anvil.
Okay.
A hot flaming anvil.
A hot flaming anvil.
Oh man. Hot flaming. A hot flaming anvil. It's painted like
The more you say
colors.
anvil, the more you say like anvil.
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 It's true. Anvil.
Maybe this
Anvil?
is just anvil.
I
Hot
should go
flaming
get
anvil.
I should go get my computer so I can buy your plane tickets for next month.
Why do
Okay.
you want me to have the Friday off? Is that
So do
the
I roll a d20 to
Friday
see if I
for the
hit?
garage sale or
No, that's the weekend, the 19th. Tim and Aaron and I want to go shooting. I want to take them
Isn't
shooting.
car sale next weekend?
what's the date on that? Sorry, we're playing.
I was gonna say, we're super focused.
Sorry, we're playing D&D.
No, it's okay. We're taking it easy.
Do I throw a 20? See if I hit?
Are you attacking with it?
Yeah.
Where do you manifest your flaming hot anvil?
Oh, right above me.
Right above you?
And then,
No,
and then
because
you
that would mean I have to
propel it,
like
right?
hurl it 60 feet.
And it can only move 30 feet.
I'm gonna.
A turn, I think.
No.
How far can it move
Range
a
is
turn?
60 feet.
That's the casting.
That's the casting time. It's movement
Its
speed.
movement is I think 30. I
No,
think
that's
you're right.
the casting time is one bonus action. What the heck are you talking about?
One bonus action to cast. It can only move
Range.
20 feet and repeat the attack. So it can only move 20 feet
Okay,
at a
well
time.
then it's
So it'll
definitely
take
going
3
to
turns.
manifest right over the closest slot to me.
Okay, so the one that Aaron just hit with her discordant whispers. Okay, so so you cast. What color is it? What does it look like? Describe it to me. Tell me what happens
it's like,
here.
It's like red hot, like it's been in a whatever those are called. Those ovens.
A forge,
Forge.
and it's on fire.
I know what a forge is. Jeez.
And it's
I'm
on
not one of
fire.
those people we were talking about earlier.
And what? You're gonna attack with it? And you're just gonna drop it straight down on top of it?
I'm gonna sear through that person.
Go ahead
Slot.
and roll a melee attack for me.
17. Do I add anything?
Your proficiency modifier would be
Is-
+2, so 19 to hit.
Where's did you see that? Oh.
You go ahead and hit.
Lucy, go support you.
So this slot just like takes a step back and like looks around wildly. It hears some strange fluting creepy, eerie music, and it's kind of bestial. It just turns back and begins attacking. And as it begins attacking, just
You're like, oh no,
just
you don't.
stung! This anvil just manifests in front of it and just slams down on top of its head and just like crushes its head into the ground. It is not dead, but it's pretty fucked up.
But you don't know how much damage it's taken yet.
Yeah, go ahead and roll
What is
your
it?
attack
1d8
dice.
plus the spell
You just dropped an
attack.
anvil on its head. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it was
4
probably
plus
okay.
14.
It's just 1d8
Plus 6, so 10.
10 points of damage. Okay.
Yeah, that would probably destroy pretty much anything.
I'd say.
I don't think I'd want to be alive after that.
Yeah, right. He's not very happy.
Now that you guys have entered combat, please roll d20s for initiative for me.
18. I can keep using my turn.
19.
Nice.
I can't even see it.
But I can.
Thank
Well, that
you.
means Aaron goes first. Isn't that right?
Well,
Probably,
we have
depending
initiative
on-
bonus too.
Oh.
So what's your initiatives, fellas, folks, ladies, Floridians?
122.
22?
Where do you see initiative?
I
Persephone.
told you guys I wanted to put them to sleep and stab them.
And what's your health?
My health is 49.
Where the crap is...
Persephone's at the top of the initiative order.
So if we made
Oh,
it,
plus
if
two.
we
So,
did make it to our
21.
goal in the middle,
21.
can we rest there? So when we come back to
We'll
combat,
find out.
am I gonna be?
We'll find out what's going on.
Because I forgot to heal.
No, we'll find out. We
We'll
have
see.
no idea what's
We'll
going
see where
on.
you guys are at. Lucy, you were right after her. 21. And what was
It's
your
hit
health?
hard. My health, 59.
Okay. Okay. So, as an anvil slams down on top of a slod in the distance, Lucy, what do you want to do to finish your turn?
I have an extra turn.
You bonus actioned, and then you used an attack. So you use your action and your bonus action, but you have movement.
Do you want to go back or do you want to go forward?
You want to stay in place.
Oh, I'm still back farther.
You're 60 feet back. It'll take you 2 turns to get in range.
I
Or
want to move forward 30 feet.
you want to move forward 30 feet? Okay.
Yeah.
So you move halfway down the alley, and that's the end of your turn. Lucy rushes down the alley. You're in the middle of running. Persephone, it's your turn. What do you do?
Okay. Oh boy.
Okay, try again. Do your thing again.
Yeah, maybe I should. Okay. I can move and also cast, right?
Mm-hmm. You have 30 feet of movement. Yep.
I'm gonna move forward as well to keep up with Lucy.
Okay. So you're just going to keep pace?
And then I'm gonna try Dissonant Whispers again.
Okay.
Come on.
So as you run, it's a wisdom roll. Oh, their wisdom is terrible.
I
Okay.
figured there wasn't one going to be great.
Yeah, it succeeds. What kind of damage are you doing on that?
3d6 psychic damage.
3d6?
Yes.
Go ahead and roll 3 cubes for me.
Okay.
3.
6, 7. Okay, and then you picked which one? There's 2 more that are still attacking just around the
Whatever
corner.
the closest one is, I guess.
That's not on the ground?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. One. I'm considering him to be out.
So as you rush forward, you cast out psionically with this dissonant whisper ability, and the second slot hears this music, and its long clawed hands reach up to its head, and just like you don't know what it's covering because it's got like this weird frog head, it doesn't have like ears, but it's like covering some, and it like begins to like sway back and forth, and it turns, and if I remember correctly, they have to flee, right?
Yes. To get as far away from me as possible.
Right, and it turns and it like begins running down the alley or down the street in the opposite direction of you guys, and it moves 30 feet.
Ha! Ha! I had it, mister.
Okay. And did you want to do anything with your bonus action? Or was that your bonus action? Is Dissonant Whispers an
It's an
It's
action?
an action.
Okay. So, do you want to do anything with your bonus action?
Sure. I don't know what those options are.
Usually it's like a spell, or you could like drink a potion, or you could do any other small little.
Can you get like your? Can I get my rapier out?
You don't need an action, or that's like an
Like that?
interaction. Yeah, that'd be like your
Oh,
That's a free
but I
action.
don't
free
understand.
action. Yeah.
Basically,
else?
basically, if you just happen to have a spell, that's
There
a
are some
bonus
spells that are bonus actions as opposed
I
to
don't think I
actions.
have any of those then.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
never mind.
All right. So the slod flees down the alley, and you are just right on the heels of Lucy, step for step.
Wait, you can't use anything for a bonus action? It has to be a bonus action?
Yes.
I mean, there's other things you can do. You can drink a potion of healing. You can use a scroll. You can read a book. You can pull something out of your pack. You can switch weapons. You can. There's lots of things that you can do with a bonus action, but it's just limited to your creativity. Like if you wanted to like grab a bucket as your
But you
bonus
can't
action, and there was
use
one
just
handy,
any
you could.
spell.
You can't use a spell that's specifically defined as like an action spell.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Like, I could use
I got
spiritual
this.
weapon as a bonus action.
Mm-hmm. It is a bonus action, so you have
Yeah.
an attack and a bonus action. You can only attack with a spiritual weapon once per turn, though.
Wait.
Okay. All right. So the slot is fleeing down the other side of the alley. One slot is like scrambling to try and pull its head out from under this weighty metal anvil, and doesn't succeed. It is still trapped beneath the anvil that is sitting on its head. The second slot turns and disengages from whatever it's attacking around the corner and begins rushing towards you. It has 30 feet of movement, so it catches up with you, Lucy, and it's going to attack with a bite first. And it's just gonna rush down the alley, and it's like hunched over, and you just see this like frog-like form, and they move in like these weird like bounding frog-like leaps on one leg at a time, like back and forth across the alley, and it like lunges at you with its mouth gaping wide. 18 to hit. Armor class.
What?
What's your armor class?
19.
19.
Ooh. So as it lunges towards you, you just like step back, and it like lunges out across, and it lands, and it turns, and it just tries to try and rake across you with its claw. 17, so doesn't hit either. So it just like reaches up and it like slashes across, but you're already moving back, and so you just like take one more step back into the side, and this thing just stumbles past you. It's right in front of you. It's not on the same side as Persephone, so Persephone's like on your left, and it's like slashed across into you right now. You've moved back a step, so you and Persephone are now like actually lined up. Okay, Persephone, it's your turn again.
Get him.
I would like to blind said foe.
Ooh.
Okay, how does blindness work again for me?
I'm within 30 feet, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Awesome.
3 feet away from you.
Got you. Great.
I think it's within 5 feet, yeah.
They make a Constitution saving throw, and if the throw fails, the target is either blinded or deafened, my choice, right? For the duration. And then, at the end of each of its turns, the target can make a Constitution saving throw. On a success, the spell ends.
Okay.
So he has to roll to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see.
You do any damage?
It doesn't tell me specifically what to roll or anything. You cast a spell using a spell slot of third level or higher. You can target one additional creature. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can use it on him and one other during your.
So just the first level spell? Or
Yeah,
the...
I think so, because there was only the 3 of them, and the other 2 are out of
The other
range,
2 are
right?
busy, yeah, at the moment.
Okay.
So just the one nearest to you? Alrighty.
Yeah, the one's trying to attack Lucy.
Okay. It got an 8 for its Constitution save. What's your spell? I'm pretty sure it's not
More
gonna...
than that. That'll be your spell save DC will be right in the middle
Good
here,
version of this.
I think.
13.
This is Beethoven like you've never heard it before.
I like it.
I've got like 6 of these.
I'm totally addicted to epic movie soundtracks right now.
Oh yeah, they're so cool.
Oh my gosh.
That's
At
what I-
work and like when I was running.
Mm-hmm.
What are you listening to?
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, that's gotta
Hans
help.
Zimmer
so good.
and like I don't know who does Last of the Mohicans and whoever does.
Oh, yeah.
Last of the Mohicans.
13.
Interstellar?
No, the
Because that's Hans Zimmer.
dream one, the dream within a dream one.
Oh,
Inception.
Also
Whoever
Hans
does-
Zimmer.
Oh yeah.
Also
Yeah,
Hans
so
Zimmer,
all
yeah.
those are on there. So good.
If you want some, I'll just send you my favorites.
You should.
Because I love
really
it.
like making myself a good channel.
Okay,
Go
okay.
ahead.
So this slot rushes up, it leaps across and tries to bite at Lucy. It turns and it slashes back and forth. It stumbles once, and as it does, Persephone whispers just a word out of her mouth. And as it does, this slod's eyes, as it's turning back to like slash again at Lucy, and you see its like beady black eyes become like this, instead of like beady shiny black, it just becomes completely like cloudy, dull, milky white. They are like completely, and it stumbles and trips over itself for a second. Let me add the blind modifier to this guy. So you have effectively grappled one. One is fleeing and one is one. And did you want to do anything with your action? You can.
Can she attack?
Wait, is blindness an action? Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
action to cast. So what do you want to do with your bonus action? You don't have to do anything with your bonus action,
You can't
and you also have your
Wait,
movement.
wait. Your rapiers. Can you use that as a bonus action because your magic thingamabob.
Right. So she could still
Oh.
technically
Mhm.
attack.
So
When he's
so now that he's
Because now that it has the runestone, you mean?
yeah
Yeah, you should be able to do that, right?
yeah
That's the one you
that was
picked.
the one she picked.
To be able to use
Sorry,
your-
sorry, not to-
Stab.
do it.
Not to like remember.
You can
these,
perform a
but-
single melee attack with your rapier as a bonus action, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do that.
So you're gonna step around and
Yeah.
stab or slice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
forgot about that. I'm sorry. I should have remembered that when we were talking about it earlier.
Go ahead and roll your d20 for an attack.
Not bad. 18.
18 is gonna go ahead and hit.
Yes. Okay, now do your. Oh wait, what damage does it do?
She has to
One,
use
it's a
her
D8
rapier.
plus something.
1d8 plus 3.
Plus 3. Wow. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Wait, this is the wrong.
That's a D6.
Where's the?
It's
Oh,
like
that's 'cause I
the.
used that earlier. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
pyramid one.
No, you're good. It's this one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, sorry.
6. So 9 points of
9
damage.
points. Damage.
So you
Work.
step around the armored Lucy and you just like stab your sword right into the back of this blinded slot, and it arches its back and like steps forward off of your blade and like stumbles into the wall of the building opposite. He is still completely blind, and that was 9 damage. Okay, and you have movement still if you'd like to use it.
So either back up or
Oh.
I wouldn't get closer, but
I don't know. I don't know. What is it doing?
You can move 30 feet still, if you like.
Oh.
One slot
you
just
went
stumbled.
behind him, stabbed him.
Yeah,
And,
and
you're
he.
like stuck here unless you move backwards, like
Oh.
behind.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
Speaking
move
of
away.
Inception,
This is still Beethoven.
I'll move away a little bit.
Move away, so you like step back. So you put like another 5 feet between you and the slot, and you're kind of like put Lucy not directly between you two, but like she is in the next target. And Lucy, it's your turn. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna hit him with my warhammer.
Ooh.
Okay, the slot that's blinded.
Yeah, let's take him out.
Go ahead and roll your attack, if you would please.
4 plus. What am I adding? Attack bonus. So 10.
10 to hit.
10 hit.
Okay, yeah. So you like reach out and like you're about to you swing at this thing, and right then Persephone's blade comes right up underneath of your strike, and it pushes like as it arches its back, you like swing and miss, and Persephone's already pulled her blade back and is jumping back, and like this slot like stumbles away, and your hammer just like misses it. Close, but didn't quite get there. What do you want to do with your bonus action?
Oh, my bonus action.
And movement.
I'm gonna take my anvil and
You
try
take it
to
off
hit.
the slot.
Or should I try to hit him? What do you think, Persephone? Should I try to like hit that slot again, or should I try
Sure.
to hit the one that's by us?
Wait.
Because he's not
I
dead.
thought there was. Oh. Oh,
He's
got it.
grappled.
One of them is fleeing. One of them is smushed under an anvil by it's a head under an anvil. It's doing strength checks every turn to see if it can.
Get this guy
Get out.
again. Try to get this guy again.
What's the one that we're
The
fighting?
blinded one.
So I'm gonna
A
lift
good
my-
strategy is always hit the damage one first.
They're
Oh,
both
they're both
damaged.
damaged.
Oh, that's
You
true.
can't attack with your bonus action though, with your warhammer.
I could throw my
Doesn't she have
anvil.
double? Doesn't she have multi?
My anvil is my spiritual weapon is a
It can
bonus
only move
action.
20 feet per turn, and it's 30 feet away, so you
Well,
can't
then
move
I'm-
it close enough
Well,
to
then
attack.
I'll just smash that other guy.
Okay,
The guy who's already grappled. I'm gonna.
you're gonna lift
it
the
up and-
anvil up and smack him.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and roll a melee attack on the damaged.
That's amazing.
14 plus 6, so 20.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and roll damage.
Nice.
Which was 1d8, right?
6.
D8
Is that
plus
bad?
1d8.
That is her spell attack modifier or bonus. Yes, because it's a spell that she's attacking with,
19.
even though it's
Oh.
a melee spell.
Oh, I got you.
19 points of damage.
Yep.
Oh, because you have your spell.
Because I have a 14.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
Super strong.
Dude, this character's the best. I love her.
Clerics, man. Okay, so this like anvil like is bleeding hot, and it lifts up, and this frog-like thing just like lifts his head up, and it's like pushing itself out of this hole, and you move it back like a foot, and just like ding, just drop it flat on again, and it is once again grappled
This is the
and
most, like,
smushed underneath.
gruesome cartoon ever.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, so that one just got smashed. It's gonna try
It's
and
not dead
escape.
yet, though?
They're pretty tough.
Oh.
Slot are pretty tough. That's why I like them. It rolled a 5. It cannot escape this giant, massive, heated metal that's sitting on its neck. Let's see. The fleeing one makes a wisdom save. Nope.
Sure his neck is just broken.
So the slot that is fleeing down the alley this way continues fleeing another. It continues fleeing, and it disappears around this corner. You can no longer see it.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm sad about there is that he's probably going to be a problem later, but for somebody.
There's always
Oh, well.
There's always somebody somewhere for somebody at some point. Okay, and the third one is blinded. It is going to turn around and it is going to try to attack Lucy
Yeah.
Okay.
with a blind attack. So it's going to roll with disadvantage.
The blind one is.
Yes.
So he's swinging wildly. You know you can't see.
Nope, doesn't hit you. And it's going to roll to try and attack. It's going to swipe with its claws this time with disadvantage. And no. So this blinded one, it like pushes off the wall and like snaps out with its jaws and like lashes out with its claws, but it misses you and it moves actually behind you guys. So now you guys have an enemy that's blinded behind you, and it's going to make a, what was the save for blindness?
Constitution saving throw.
Constitution. And it got a 4. So it is not safe. It is still blinded. And we're going back to you, Persephone.
Oh, you're
Alright.
hurting that.
This is why status effects are so cool in D&D, because you just like.
Side effects are amazing.
Yeah.
Question.
That's why bards are great. You're playing Persephone exactly the way bards are supposed to be played.
Question. I feel like her spell save DC is low. I feel like we forgot to level it up when she leveled up, so we should look into that.
What's your spell save DC?
It's 13. It seems low for
For a fifth level bard.
Hers is 14.
Well, aren't we 6?
Yeah.
I don't remember how to calculate it.
don't know what they were attacking.
Yeah, we still can't see around the corner.
Galara's when she was level 6 was right around 16. That's why I was.
Wizards Plane have a lot more.
Oh, that's probably true.
Yeah, mine is 13. If a bard's got better spells than me.
You're a ranger, you wouldn't have as good as spells. She's a cleric too, she has better spells than the bard.
Right, and I'm 13, so
Yeah.
if she was 13, then
Mm-hmm.
she should be better than me.
What is
It's
it?
8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your charisma modifier.
8 plus
Proficiency bonus will be at the very top of the left column,
Plus 30.
10, 11.
plus your charisma modifier, which could go up over your levels. Charisma's very bottom, and then the
That one?
yep.
14?
Is that so? 14 should be your So you can go ahead and your charisma modifier must have gone up when you leveled up at some point. So yeah, you can move
Must
that
have
up to.
gone up? This number?
Yep.
When you level up.
When you level up your charisma modifiers and stuff, you get ability score increases and
So
stuff.
none of these have ever changed on my sheet. I don't know what we're talking about.
Oh, okay. Maybe we just miscalculated in the first one, but if that's the number, it should be 8 plus your proficiency plus your charisma modifier. So
It seemed low to me.
14 is correct if it's.
Okay.
Sorry, 13 seemed low for me. When I was like, it just doesn't make sense. Seemed off.
Yeah, but they don't like change unless your ability score modifiers change. Which your ability score modifiers do change a lot in 5th edition of D&D, so it could easily be that. But all right, it is Persephone's turn.
Okay, I'm gonna. How far away is he now?
He's about 10 feet away from you.
So I'm gonna move in and get him with my rapier again.
Okay. So go ahead and you step around Lucy once more. She's like a giant armored tiefling in your midst. Because aren't you like 6'4" or something like that?
Pretty tall.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead and roll an attack with your rapier.
Okay, wait. Am I rolling with this or am I rolling?
You roll your d20 to hit.
Okay.
No, this is run like hell.
Sorry, when it's been like a month, I forget everything.
No, you're good.
So 11.
11 plus what to hit?
What am I looking for again?
It'll be by your weapon.
That
Middle
that?
box, yeah.
Okay. 11 plus 6. So
17.
yes,
Good, you hit. Go ahead and roll your 1d8 plus 3.
which is this one.
Mhm.
Yes. Ah.
Woo!
8
8 plus 3.
plus 3.
11 points of damage on that blind slot. Okay. So you reach back, and once again, you like step around Lucy, and you just like, and you like stick right into the gut, and it's like blind still. I can't see where it's being attacked from, and it's just like slashing wildly in the alley, and you just reach up behind it and like stab it, just like jab it right in the ribs with your rapier. What do you want to do next?
What do I want to do?
You can attack again with your bonus action, or do
Attack it again with bonus action.
if you'd like.
And
'cause you have that
determine
rune
if
stone.
My bonus action moment is the rapier, so I could do it. Just hit it again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll again. Go ahead and roll again to hit. It's only with your rapier though, so
Right.
yeah,
Not the dagger.
right.
Oh,
Nine.
man.
9? 6.
9 plus the
Plus 6.
6.
Okay, you go ahead. 15. You hit again. Go ahead and red slot don't have great ACs, so go ahead and roll your damage.
Wait.
3 plus
3.
Okay, so another 6 points of damage. So you stab him and he like stumbles away. You stab him again, and this time it's not quite as deep into his body this time, but it still like is slashing him right through the right along the ribs. And there's beginning to be this like oozing pussy blood that's like starting to seep down his sides. He's pretty messed up at this point. He's starting to bleed. That's pretty. Oh, this is really hard to get the volume right on these because like they're like really loud, really quiet. I don't want to like drown out this like I did the first. Okay, Lucy, it's your turn.
I'm gonna try to get him right in the head with my warhammer.
Okay,
Knock him out.
you can just attack him. He's like 5 feet away from you.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and roll to attack. 19 plus.
19 plus.
A lot. You're gonna hit. But
Gonna
3.
hit.
I'm just interested.
22.
22. Okay, so you reach out with your warhammer and you just clock him right in the head. You said. Go ahead and roll your damage. I think it's a D8.
Plus 1, 7.
7 points of damage. Okay, so. Okay, so you reach out and you just like clock this thing upside the head, and it like it's just like this. It's just like this. It's like actually like this meaty thwack.
Ugh.
Like you're hitting him like sometimes when you hit bone, you know, you get like that like crunch, but with your hammer, but like because it's a frog, it's got like all this fleshy like shoulder head thing going on, and it's just like this like against it. It's like when you hit a
Like
meat
hitting a pig.
tenderizer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like in Mythbusters when they would like
And as you do that, like your hammer is like it's got like this like
molest a goat.
sort of jagged edge on it, like a meat tenderizer almost would, and it just like it leaves this like soft imprint that like begins like oozing as you pull your hammer out, and like a splurt of like this nasty stuff comes out of him. What do you want to do with your bonus action, or
I'm gonna hit the guy with my hand. With
The
my
slot that's
anvil.
down, you're gonna hit him again.
Yep.
Go ahead and roll a melee attack.
So she's like, she's fighting two at once. That's so cool.
11
I
plus.
could do that.
Spiritual weapon's so cool.
So 25.
25 to hit.
I think you hit him.
I think you hit him. So the anvil once again, like, do you want to smash him again, or do you want to do anything else?
How'd you roll an 11 and turn it to 25?
She's got a plus 14 spellcasting modifier.
What?
So she's a cleric, so she
Plus
has.
14 to,
Yeah.
to spells? That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
We remember we were all shocked at that. We calculated out when Lucy ended the campaign. I was like, wait.
Is that high? Because
Yeah.
mine is 16.
Dang.
Wow. Okay.
Everybody else is not that high still.
Yeah, mine's. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I got nothing in that comes to that. I
Uh,
can shoot arrows.
yeah, I'm just gonna bash him in the head again.
Okay, so you lift up your anvil
I mean,
and
I
you
don't
drop
know
it down
how
on
his
him.
skull is not
Go ahead and
completely
roll your
cracked,
attack
right?
damage.
What? That's not the right one.
To 1d8 or
Yeah, I picked up the 1d6. 8.
8 plus.
6 or 2 plus 6. 8.
Oh, 2 plus 6. Okay, so 8 total. Is this just like not even playing, or is it just that quiet? It's really that quiet. Whoa,
Whoa.
it's really hard with these. Okay,
Yeah.
6 damage. Okay, so it you lift up your anvil and you just crash it down again, same spot. It is still stuck and grappled, and it is going to try to escape that grapple. It's wildly going to flail. Oh, and it does not succeed. It gets a 2. So it is still stuck underneath of the thing.
How is it
The
still
let me just make
alive?
a.
Not mine.
I recommend you guys so we can move on.
Well,
You're working
I was
on it.
expecting them to like actually be a threat to you guys since there's 3 of them, but you guys have effectively
Where's
trapped.
the third one? It ran away.
It's running
I made
away.
it run away from us.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And what's your spell save DC again?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
14.
No, excuse me, Persephone for blindness.
Oh. My spell save is now 14.
Okay, so the frog that you just hit, the slot. I know it's not a frog, but you just hit. It like turns and its eyes begin to like come away, but then like
Uh-oh.
like re-black, and then it like moves back into the milky white. It's like almost resisting the effects of your spell. But as it like fades and it comes back, it like catches a glimpse of where you guys are.
Uh-oh.
So it knows you're there, and it is going to take a leap at you and see if it can attack you with disadvantage. 16 is its highest, so it's going to miss. So it just like lashes out, and it's going to do it once more with its claws, and it misses on those tails. So
That's why blindness is so awesome.
blindness is awesome. So it bumps up against you, and it like falls over, like it's slashing at you, but it like misses with the slash and runs into you with its
balance.
shoulder and loses its balance and like stumbles back. So it's like half crouched on the ground. Can't hit you though. Okay, and it's back to Persephone. Status effects, man.
Well, I haven't got much else I can do to it anyway, besides, I guess I can throw dissonant whispers at it. Or I can keep stabbing it.
You can double stab.
Yeah.
Douglas
I
stabby.
do kind of like double stabbing right now. I'm gonna stab it some more.
I like the double stabbing.
Okay, go ahead and roll your attack.
As a double stabber, I appreciate it.
15.
15 hits. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Hey.
She's like, wait, I didn't say my plus yet.
Yeah, oh, I can't keep it some nights.
Some nice.
Whoa. 1.
Bummer.
What, 1 plus what? 3.
4 damage.
Second attack.
Okay, so you reach up and you just stab him once more. He's like, and he like throws himself backwards onto his knees again, like further back. He's still like within range of attacking you, but he's like he's beginning to try to run. You want to roll to attack again?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and roll your attack dice.
Oh. Well, alright. 16.
All right, that was a nice ricochet off the coffee cup. Yep, you're gonna go ahead and hit. So roll your attack damage. Ooh,
4.
8.
Yeah, plus 3.
Oh, I thought it
7.
was before. Sorry.
Okay, so you just reach out and you just like stab him. This time, like right up, like in the shoulder. Like he's turned towards you because he knows where you guys are. And you, like stab him right in the shoulder, and it's like he's just like beginning, like blood is pouring down his sides. Like he's got like 6 or 7 stab wounds in him now, and you're just like peppering him with these stab wounds. And you step back into the line. What do you do?
He looks like a cheese grater.
I'm gonna cast Guiding Bolt.
Go ahead. Well, just, what, can you describe Guiding Bolt for me?
A flash of
It's a
light
big
streaks towards the
lightning.
creature of your choice within range. Make a ranged spell attack. It's 120 feet. It's not hard.
I was gonna say Guiding Bolt's huge.
It is.
On a hit, the target takes 4d6 radiant damage, and the next attack roll made against this target before the end of
have
your
advantage.
next turn has advantage.
Because
Who are you
he's
attacking?
The slot closest to us.
The one that's on the ground. So, as you are beginning to cast this spell,
Oh fuck!
from the wall on the side of the building that you are standing next to,
No!
completely bursts out, and it appears a giant blue slot. It's taller than
Oh, shit.
both of you, and it rushes out into the middle, and it doesn't even know you guys
Not
are
fair.
there. It is rushing past you, and
Well,
It-
let him pass by.
as it rushes past you, you release your spell, and go ahead and roll your attack damage.
What?
Oh
That's so unfair!
no!
Wait, don't I have
Is
to
it a
roll
gray
first?
slot? Is it a gray
It's a
slot?
blue slot that just
Blue
rushed.
slot?
Don't I need to roll this first?
You need to roll that one.
This is like my favorite novel, you guys.
15
29.
just hits. Go
29.
ahead. Oh, 29 because you have your... Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead and roll your
The
4d6. Does it make a save?
What?
Does it make a save or anything, or is it just a melee attack damage?
It's just a range,
melee.
just straight attack.
Go ahead and roll your
How
damage.
many? 4? 3,
So it somehow gets in the
4.
way in those few feet.
7, no 8.
Yeah,
Within
it's like
the
pushing the other
around.
slot out of the way.
Within the
11.
10 seconds.
11?
Came out of the
Do I
building,
add?
like
It
burst
ran through the building.
17 points of damage.
Okay. Wow. Because it's a tank, right?
You
Got
don't,
a tank.
you don't add that.
I don't? Okay, well then,
No, it's just
11.
straight rolls.
11. Why wouldn't I add that?
What is that
Spell
again?
attack bonus.
Laura never added that to anything. It just is whatever it was. What is spell attack bonus? Let me look it up. Because I just don't.
I've always used it as just like an attack bonus. So when you use it as
I
an
wish
attack bonus.
Laura would have been way more open.
I mean, that's what I thought it was for, so maybe I'm wrong. I haven't actually read the Dungeon Master Guide, so... You know the Dungeon Master
5e.
Guide? The one that tells you about a
5e,
Dungeon
right?
Master?
We're on 5e, right?
Yeah. I know.
That's what we've always done.
So as this... You're like literally like a foot away from this slot, and as this blue slot rushes across, he actually steps on the red slot and smushes it beneath his foot, and it is
Thank you.
just turned into mush. And as it's running past, it doesn't even notice that you're there, and your finger, like, as the light casts from your hands, it, like, catches this slot in the side, and it's huge, and it, like, pushes it, and it, like, flings it 20 feet away from you, and it, like, spins, and the momentum of this beast takes it, like, from... You guys are, like, here, and it takes you from here, and it, like, casts it this way into the building, and it smashes through several walls, and you just hear crashing and pounding, and
Now we
it is lost from sight, and you don't know what happened. It took 17 points of damage and is out of the way for now.
I need my,
Hey, that
I
was
need my
cool.
anvil, I need a heat metal.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can't see it. That was just your first attack,
That makes really
or is that your bonus attack?
What?
Let's go tip for
Is that your bonus attack or your
That was
first?
my first.
That was your first attack. Okay, what else do you want to do?
Is that one? Is the grapple squad still grappled?
The grappled slot is still grappled. Yes.
Well, I'm just gonna maybe hit him in the kneecaps this time.
Every time I kill something in this journal, I always write DED dead. Sorry, that's silly. Carry on.
I'm gonna hit him in the kneecaps again.
Oh, you're gonna smush him? Go ahead and roll your attack with your anvil.
424.
24. You hit. Go ahead and roll to hit. Or to roll to damage.
7.
Okay, so once again, this slod is like trying to scramble up right as you like move it a foot over and like slam the anvil back down on top of it. And it like this time you see like this like splurt of like liquidy, and it like it's still moving and trying, but it's like it's definitely like losing So it's alive, but it's like clawing.
It's like kicking out.
It's like trying to push this anvil off of its head, and like its legs are twitching a little bit. Can't quite reach its way out. Okay, Lucy. Anything else you want to do?
You were doing it the right way.
That's what I thought.
You were doing it the right way.
Okay.
The only time that it doesn't is weird ones that automatically hit, like magic missile. But the
auto hit or the saves. Yeah.
But anytime that she rolls a d20 to see if she hits or not, she'll be adding in that number.
Right.
To hit. Sorry.
What do you guys? What do you want to do, Lucy?
I want to be turning my to the direction of the blue slot.
Okay. As you're turning, you see like 3 or 4 small halflings move past this slot, like they're inching around this small opening, and they like move past it, and you notice that 2 of them are like smaller than the other ones, and they're like trying to like usher themselves past this slot that's like.
So are they the ones that were around the corner that we couldn't see?
Yep.
Oh, no.
And they're like inching past, like trying to like move around the corner.
Are they
They
getting
towards
could
closer to
like
us?
engaging the slot
Huh?
though.
They're coming towards us.
They're inching around like out of the alley.
Over
Like
here.
yeah, they're
Over
like inching
here.
out and like they're trying to come like around.
Okay, where's the blue slot?
The blue slot went into this building.
Yeah.
Okay.
The blue slot is in here somewhere. You're not entirely certain. These people are like coming out this way. They're trying to move this way towards where this slot ran off this direction. But they're,
Okay.
you don't know where that slot is, but it's still running.
I just want to be able to be like, go the other direction if they're getting people.
Do you want to do anything else?
What's happening?
Which one? They're not. How? 2 of them are still not dead, right?
One is still smushed beneath the thing, and the one is fleeing, and now there's a blue slot somewhere in the building.
Because the blue slot killed the one that stepped on or pushed out of its way.
Yeah, that one's that one's like, and as you notice now, you notice like it's like doing the disintegrating thing, like the turning into ooze that they do when they die.
Take those people and
It's
get
like a
the fuck
it's
out
like a
of
slimy
Okay,
pile.
let's do it.
there. We're gonna take those people and book it.
Okay, so you're gonna move the 30 feet to the. Okay. It's not your turn yet, Persephone.
Okay.
Okay, so you move 30 feet up to that slot that's there. So you walk up behind the slot, and you are probably 4 or 5 feet away from those people now.
Okay.
And oh, good, that's perfect. As you do this, the slot that is smushed beneath your he finally succeeds on his strength check, and he pushes this anvil off the top of him, and he like pulls himself back and like stands up and like sees you, and he like sees the small halflings, and he is like,
Was that joke
this
that I know?
slot is obviously like fucked up. Its head is like a mush mass of stuff.
How is he alive?
It has really high hit points, although it's pretty close to being dead. It lashes out just in a general direction, and hold on 1 second. There's how many? 1, 2, 3, 4 people, so we'll roll this.
Oh no, there's gonna be casualties.
It lashes out at one of the halflings.
Dude, we lost like a dozen humans at least.
Yeah, we lost.
You guys lost 21.
To that, and
We
it
lost
kept cutting out and keep getting to the same exact spot.
So it lashes out and it like almost strikes this small child, but like just barely like collapses. It just can't reach this child, and this halfling child like, screams and jumps back, and its father reaches down and like lifts it by its shirt up and behind them, and like they immediately just like turn and bolt down down the small street. Okay, it is you hear a large, huge clatter and shifting of stuff inside the building,
We do not need to engage.
and you hear some crashing and some smashing. You don't see anything yet, though. It's not like you don't hear anything like rushing towards you. You just hear like. All right, and it is back to Persephone's
Go
turn.
past. The blue slot comes out. You run. I'll disguise myself and be like, "Hey, Steve."
Hey, Steve.
I don't think we have to run that way though.
JK.
I like it though. We can
Walking.
just run the other way.
J.K. Rowling.
Uh-huh.
Okay, what? So Persephone, it's your turn.
So
There's still the slod. You're 30 feet away. You're halfway to the people. There's the slod who is no longer underneath of Lucy's anvil, and the halflings are trying to rush away.
Can it
from
get up? Can
It just collapsed as it tried to attack these halflings.
I think I
So-
should run this way and you should run this way, and we'll meet up far away.
Can I see your spell cards, Aaron?
Me? Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
We'll run around the building and meet over here.
Why do we need to go different ways? Aren't we here?
I don't want to go past the building again. Where are we?
Oh, right here.
Because I'm over. You're 30 feet
Cool,
away
cool,
from me.
Oh, okay. Well,
Right? Right? Oh.
okay.
And I are going in the gym in the morning.
Okay.
Okay. Just don't
Why are we whispering?
Just so it's not on the record.
Oh. I think I can hear
I was trying not to interrupt, but I did a bang up job.
you. What are you doing?
Hi, Mark.
What are you doing, Persephone?
Hi, Mike.
last
I hope
action,
Facebook's
I
going
think,
well.
Can I
And
Can I
Instagram.
cast? I want to try casting Dissonant Whispers to end the slod that's on the ground to get out from under the anvil.
Oh, okay.
Go.
So it's a wisdom saving throw.
Yes.
It fails.
So 3d6.
Go ahead and roll your damage.
Wait.
Nice.
6.
Ow.
Oh yeah, this one. Regular die. That
Mhm.
this throws me.
You're looking
I
for
know,
all
I
your
know,
stuff
yeah,
there.
That's a D6. A dice.
So 6.
6 and then 2 more.
So as you are like beginning this whisper, this slot, like it's on the ground. It like is like half the, and it like reaches up to its head, and it like it hears this like discordant, painful like shrieking for a second, and it like it can't like quite stand it, and it just like collapses forward. And as it hits the ground, like there's just like this wet like thud, and the slot is dead.
Another one bites the dust.
Yay!
Another one. Nope, nothing.
Take that.
Okay,
And then we got out of there.
and there's your bonus
Yeah.
action and movement time.
Yeah. Then I want to catch up. I want to try and catch up to Lucy.
Okay. So you walk down 30 feet and you see Lucy and the halflings. At this point, they're like halfway down the alley, like down a small street. I keep calling it an alley. It's a small street.
I think we need to book it.
So then,
All right, Lucy. Or did you want to do anything else?
so if we're do we catch up to her? Are we here? Like at the
Mhm.
at the next alley?
Yep, you're like
We
at the
can
mouth of
keep
the alley.
going.
The slot is like
Oh, we
in
need
the
to
mouth
go
of the
together?
alley.
But you're not out of
Okay.
combat yet, so you can't just run. You have
Oh.
to, you're still fighting.
You can use an action to dash. Oh no, you just cast Dissonant Whispers. You can use an action to dash, which makes you move twice as far, but you can't attack.
Okay. Yeah, I just
So
wanted
we're
to-
right here on this corner.
Okay.
If
I
we
just
go
wanna-
this way, we have to go past the blue slot. Slot again.
He's somewhere in there, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
getting closer.
We
Rumbling
can-
around.
run for it. All right, I'll follow you.
Right, we're gonna go down that way.
Okay, you're just going down which way? Towards the academy still?
Towards
Along
the
your path?
academy, but no, we're not gonna go past where the blue slot crashed again.
It's in the building, so you're like. What do you mean you're not going to go past where it
She doesn't
crashed?
want to go past this building.
The
because
opening
it's in
where
there.
he went in.
I think he went in on this side.
Yeah, he went into the building from the street that you guys were in.
So I think he went in this somewhere in
Oh,
here.
I thought he.
So
Okay.
if we go, we can probably go. I think, unless something unexpected happens, we can probably still go this way unless he's.
Yeah, it's like 100 feet total, and from the mouth of this alley, you can see down the line. You can see the building that is this, and there seems to be a door in that corner right there, like it's a.
Okay.
So, but basically, we're still in combat, right? So,
Mm-hmm. You are in combat.
so I'm gonna catch up to Lucy.
Okay, so you caught up to Lucy,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't. What else? Do you anything else?
I don't think I can.
Okay.
Our two slaughter that are there are dead, right?
Yep. The one you left one a puddle of goo in the alley, and the other one turning into goo in the mouth of the alley. All right, Lucy, what do you want to do?
Wanna run?
I want to run away.
Are you gonna sprint? Like you're gonna dash to move 60 feet instead of 30?
But then she's not with me.
True.
Leave her behind. I'd leave you behind.
I was gonna say, that's very for you.
That's me.
I put Persephone on my back and we run.
You can pick somebody up if you'd like.
Okay.
What's your strength?
Pick her up.
It's 13.
You can do an athletics check if you'd like. You're not
What do you think,
horribly
Persephone?
strong, but you are a blacksmith, so you're strong enough.
What do you think, Persephone?
Die, you dog! Whoa!
Wait, I want to fight, so you have to like drag her away from me and screaming. We gotta
Do I
go.
roll a d20 for that?
Go ahead and roll a athletics check for me.
Oh, man. She trips and she tries to pick up Persephone.
So you grab Persephone by the hand and you begin like
And
pulling
she's
her.
just too angry, so she slips free.
And you're like, you try to like kind of pick her up, but you're like, she's mad, and you're like trying to rush too fast, and you use your movement and you drag her along with you 15 feet.
Okay.
Oh, you're wearing your cow boob shirt.
Jesus Christ.
What?
He thinks this looks like a cow's head, and he thinks this looks like a boob.
Look, this is the cow's head. That's
You
the
know what
boob.
it really is?
No, I have no
It's
idea.
a
It's a
light
light
bulb.
Click. This is a,
Ah! I don't know what it says.
Transform, be exemplary.
How does
Oh,
that
okay.
look like a cow boob? I forget.
see, this looks like a cow's head, and these are the bull's horns,
We all saw
and
it.
this is the cow's ears, and this is the cow's mouth.
Yeah.
This looks like a boob. Cow boob. That's all of it.
I don't really understand why they put a dot in the middle of that.
I think it's supposed to represent
But that's
the
not
Is
what
that
a
a little
boob.
coil or something?
That's
Yeah.
not what a boob looks like.
Well, it's not
It's
supposed
not
to be a
supposed to
boob.
be a boob.
I know. I'm just saying. Like,
I don't know. I've seen some messed up boobs.
I guess that's on recording.
I'm so sorry you have to put up with a piano. You deserve somebody who appreciates your boobs
sorry.
more.
There are a lot of different kinds of boobs out there, I suppose.
Let's talk about his own.
That's true. I've been many shapes.
Wow.
Giggle, giggle, quack.
Sorry, that was me just getting distracted from your shirt. I'm so sorry.
Dog, said Farmer Brown. It's for you, Bob.
Okay.
I just imagine those
So you
animals,
drag her 15 feet, and that's your movement. You have moved, and she has moved 15 feet. You can no longer move during your turn. You have an action and a bonus action. Do you want to do anything else on your
I don't
turn?
know what else I could use. We're gonna sneeze. Guys, I'm getting tired. Nope, not that one.
How can we still be in combat if there's no more enemies, technically, right in front of us?
There's an enemy. He's just in a building somewhere near you.
He's
That
trying
still
to
counts as
escape.
combat? Like,
He's calm. He's gonna try and fight you.
Yep.
This is my way of saying you can't see him, but
Then run.
the sloth that fled moved outside of the effective range of combat.
Right.
He moved over 120 feet, and I was like, okay, he hasn't thrown this off yet. At this point, he's out of combat range, and I
Well, I
Stop
might
checking.
as well cast this because I have the turn and I don't know what else I can do. I'm gonna cast protection from energy onto Penelope. Persephone. And we're gonna do acid damage.
Ooh.
Protection from acid damage.
Okay, so as she grabs you and is pulling you along, she's like, you're like mad, and you're like, come on, my ashes will rain over your children, and you will never see the light of day. And you're just like, and she like grabs you. You know, you're an angry bard right now, and she like grabs you. She's like, come on, and she like drags you, and you're like fighting. You're like, I'm gonna turn you puddle of pus into nothing. You're gonna be, and like she drags you, and as she drags you, she like stops, and you're like, yeah, that's right. I'll say terrible things about your children about how much of a coward you were. And she's like dragging, and she like stops as you're like yelling back there still, and she just like as she sighs, and then she casts this. You feel this warm tingling, and you feel like this like, you feel like you see this like green flash of energy cover your whole body for just a second, and then it fades away. You still feel this like weird tingling. All the arm hair is like standing out, but you're not entirely certain
Got
what it
this.
is.
The tingle feelings.
The tingly feelings from this.
I thought you might need a little extra help just in case.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Of all the things you're gonna do to everybody else.
You can't keep your mouth shut.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so from inside the building, you hear this at first slow, but then building up momentum. You hear this crash, 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 and from
That's a nope.
and from the building, this like as you guys are passing this, you see this blue form behind you like and run straight like where you guys were standing. This slot runs straight through into this next building and like takes out this support. And as you see like the wall begins to collapse, you see like it's like a blur, a flashing blue blur as it crashes like a giant blue cannonball through. It missed you, but the building is collapsing, and as it goes through, you hear the next building. And the next, like through this, it's just like going all the way through this. And after maybe 5 whole seconds of it smashing through this building, this side of this building is just beginning to fall, and it like topples onto the building next to it. This alleyway, like this street right here, completely disappears beneath the rubble. It is just gone. And you hear after a moment, you just hear like, even though it stopped for a second, you just hear like, and you see like halfway down the street this like form, this blue arm like chucking rock off of it.
Okay. I'm gonna run. We're gonna run.
It's Persephone's turn.
This direction.
Okay.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do.
All right. You
Gotcha.
have about 105 feet to move before you are at the academy.
Okay.
You're gonna
So I
dash
can
60
dash.
feet, right?
60 feet if
60
you
feet.
sprint as fast as you can.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, so Persephone like she like stops and she's like, oh
Yep.
thanks. She's like looking at this like interesting like she's kind of like got this energy covering her, and you see the smash, the building like collapses, and you just like and she just turns and she just begins like sprinting down the alley as fast as she can.
Nope. We know our limits.
Lucy, what do you want to do?
I'm dashing
Squishy.
too.
I'm squishy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you move another 60 feet. You guys are hot on each other's heels, so you move from like this, you move all the way about halfway there.
Okay, great.
As you are standing there, the slot looks around and it sees you guys, and it winds up its speed, and it just like through the rubble, and like you guys peek over your shoulder, and this slot just like it's like it's wading through like thick mud, but it is speeding up.
coming.
It is coming. Oh Lord, he's
God
coming,
damn it.
and it's just like. And it's like, even though this is like huge chunks of rubble, this thing is like 6.5 feet tall, and it is literally just like knocking boulders aside and like
Probably
smashing
here.
it to dust beneath its
Way
weight.
over there.
We need to rage. We need to rage.
It is running towards you. It is like, by the time it stops, it is completely out of, it is completely out of this, and it is beginning to run here. It used its whole movement to get through this alley, and it is.
Come on, you can roll it. You can roll it.
Line that sucker.
Alrighty.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Or dissonant
Well,
whisper.
It's Persephone's
how many
turn.
feet is he? Are we within?
You are within. You move 60 feet, so you guys have.
Is he?
You guys have 45 feet to move left.
No, I mean
No, how
between
far away are we from
him and us?
Oh, he's probably about 50 feet away.
50.
He is 50
What's
feet
your
away.
plan?
I need to stop saying probably about.
30.
The doctor's like, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your pain? I'm like, ooh, 7 or 8 or 9-ish. And he's like, 7 or 8 or 9. Pick one.
Pick one.
And I'm like, ooh, 7.3? And he's just like, 7 or 8. I'm rounding here. No, because it's not really a 7. It doesn't matter how fine you make the print. I'm always going to be like, ooh, it's between like, ooh, 7.65 and 7.70.
You get that from me.
Ugh, I'm just an asshole.
William. Stop it.
Aaron does it. So you can't be now.
This thing is running full tilt at you guys.
So,
Go toward him and
do we? Yeah,
That's a
that's
fail.
what I'm trying to figure out. Is like, is there time enough to turn around and cast a spell and keep running?
You can stop and cast a spell and then use 30 more feet of movement to get
for your
Okay.
bonus action.
Then
What's the range of dissonant whisper?
60.
60.
Oh, you can do
I
that
can do
then.
that. And so sleep is 90, but we already talked about how that's.
You get to cast it as a 3rd level spell. It might
Did
do
my
something.
anvil go away or is it still active?
It's still sitting in the street.
So you could summon it back to.
It's
right
about where your anvil is, actually. It's like right here. It's only like 10 feet past it. It's within its moving
Where?
range.
I'm putting my bonus action.
Yeah, I'll cast dissonant. I'll stop, turn quick, and try to cast dissonant whispers at it.
Okay, go. It's a wisdom save. Let me get my blue slot shirt.
What about the blue slot? Was it?
This is pretty intense, you guys. I don't want either of you to die.
What was the
so-
characteristic of the blue slot?
14. What's your spell save DC?
13 or 14.
14.
Nice.
I
So like you see it like as it's sprinting, it just like starts to like, and you just like this discordant music once again starts in it's like a really off-tune lute, and it's just like it's
Off-tune loot.
like, and then behind it there's like some guy like playing a harmonica poorly in a different key to a different tempo, and it's just like weird, and like it begins to like lose its focus, and as it's running,
Da Vinci actually said that. Sorry, I'm interrupting your thing. Da Vinci actually said he had to draw before he had to draw beautifully.
Ah, yes.
go ahead and roll your damage, and as you are rolling, it begins to become distracted, and I want to know how much damage you do before I.
3d6. Okay, this one, right?
Yep, regular dice.
Yep.
5.
7.
5,
12.
12.
12. Okay. Plus anything?
No, it's a wisdom save, so you don't add your.
Does it do spell casting or anything like that?
I mean, it was a contest between its saving throw and her spell save DC.
Gotcha.
Right. So it failed. So it is going to be affected by dissonant whispers. As it is running, you begin to see its eyes sort of like a little bit like become hazy and unfocused, and it moves its hands to its head, and as it does, like it just like cringes and it begins to like slide, and it's like running. It's like running into the wall along this alley as it's passing Lucy's and the wall, and it begins to it's like veering off course.
Yep.
It's still running towards you, but it's not on a straight football player path to you now. It is veering into the wall.
Now it slowed it down pretty well.
Excellent.
Okay, and that brings us to Lucy's turn. What do you want to do? Oh, sorry, hold on. Well, how far away does it have to move after you affect it? Is it immediately, or is it on its next turn?
So it moves. So you immediately use its reaction, if
Reaction.
available, to move as far as its speed allows away from you.
Oh, okay. So as it turns into the wall, like it uses the momentum of the wall crushing to like turn around the corner, and it immediately just like bolts in a different direction, and it's going north. So it's here, and it immediately like swings around this wall. It like crushes into this wall of the building it crashed before, and it begins to move, smashes through it, and you stop hearing smashing, and it is moving in that direction, and you just hear it stops smashing, and it is running full tilt.
Oh gosh.
Well,
Lucy, it's your turn. What do you want to do?
Well, how far away is it from me now?
From you? You can't see it at the moment. It went around a corner.
That's my plan.
It went, well, to be fair, it didn't go around a corner. It went through a corner and past the corner.
Drinking problems.
I know. Yeah.
I want more coffee, but I'm not allowed. I have a whole jug of iced coffee in the fridge, but it's
And one brewing.
still weird. Oh yeah, that was been brewing since I got back. I should take it out.
You should. It's probably not good.
No, it's probably
Probably pretty-
moldy.
It might. No. It might be moldy.
I don't know. Wait.
Okay, what do you want to do, Lucy?
I'm not sure because that changes my plan. I can't
See
attack.
it, right?
You guys are about 45 feet away from the...
Should we just get the rest of the way to the academy?
As it crashes through that wall, more of the building collapses into,
Yeah, we need
into
to
the
get away.
road.
Okay. We'll just keep running then.
Yeah.
To the
And we'll run the rest of the way to the
Alrighty.
academy.
So you're
Dashing.
gonna dash the rest of the way and make it all the way there? So you're gonna use your dash action and move up 45 feet.
Yep.
So as you approach this building, you notice that as you're interested, because the other buildings that you've come to, they seem to be like well made, beautifully engraved. But this building, as you walk up to it, you know it's just like basic, like weathered wooden structure. It's like a very blocky building, and you're a little confused because you're like, isn't this, as you run past, you're like, isn't this supposed to be the Academy of the Arcane? Like, isn't this supposed to be like magic? They should be able to have like a super nice building. It's a little strange. You walk up to this, it's a big door, it's just a plain wooden door though. And as you arrive, what do you want to do? You have a bonus action still and a no
Well-
movement. No movement. Did you have a bonus action? Do you want to do
Should I
anything?
just like summon my anvil back to me?
You can move it 20 feet towards you.
Oh yeah.
It's
do
100
that.
feet away still.
Yep.
Okay, so your anvil like just begins scraping along the ground. Do you want to lift it above the ground, or you just want to?
I want to let it hover just barely.
Okay, so it hovers barely over the ground. It is like moving through, like over the rubble. That whole alley on that side is just like a mess. And Persephone,
Yep.
you just use yours, the blue slot. Let me just actually see. Fails the saving throw. So go ahead and you hear as you hear like smash, 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 smash. It's moving off in this direction.
Great.
somewhere.
Where are you guys trying to get to?
That way.
Oh no.
Sorry. I could have told it which direction to go. I would have sent it your way.
It has already had momentum going up. If you didn't have momentum going up, I would have been like, hey, that's good. Okay, what do you want to do, Persephone? It's your turn.
Are we still dashing?
I'm there.
You're 45 feet away still.
Well, I'm gonna keep running then. Keep running till I get to the building.
Okay, so you dash up to the building and
It's 11. I'm gonna have a hard
She's
time.
turned into a pumpkin already.
Having a hard time. That's what Liam said. Having a hard time falling asleep. Well, you don't have to fall asleep yet.
that's what I said. It's always what I do. But thank you.
Oh yeah.
Did you just look that up and copy and paste it for me?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
I didn't know, so.
Yeah, I just assumed. I know we talked about that once, but about who wins if you roll the same number for attack and DC.
yeah,
So that's 14, and this is
What-
14.
what
Whoever
happens in
attacks
ties?
wins because you break through that. That's it. Okay, so you both arrive at this door. You guys want to pound on it? Are you guys knocking? Are you guys doing? You want to interact with it, or do you guys want
With
to?
the door?
I think, well, we can knock. I mean, we're gonna knock a little bit hard, but not as panicked because now I'm not being chased.
For the moment,
Yeah, exactly.
although this thing does have
You know,
like
it's
a
like
lot
it's
of
like
movement
polite,
speed, so-
but it's like, hello, huh? Hello.
guys, knock it really is. Okay, so you knock.
Mm-hmm.
Knock. There's no answer.
What do you do?
Well, shit. Do we try to open the door?
See if it's locked?
Yeah, or I'm gonna start yelling. Basically.
What do you yell?
We come from the arch straight. Let us in! Let us in!
So after a moment, you hear like a from above you,
Love you.
Okay.
and you
Look up.
look up, and you see this like on the second story, looking over the edge. There's just like this little round gnomish face, like poking out over the top, and it's like
Oh.
Oh.
this gnome. It has like long draping mustaches over its kind of thick jowls, and it's like
Listen.
and it's like looking over the corner. It's like,
Oh.
Quick, climb up.
Okay.
Should we go outside?
Can we climb the side? Or up the door?
is that what you want to do?
Is that what he's telling us?
Do it.
What do you think?
That's what it seems to be if the door's locked. Alright. Fine, we'll try to climb up then.
Acrobatics check.
Okay, so you reach out to try and climb the door,
Mm-hmm.
or climb up the wall. As you touch the door, you stumble in. It's like not there, and you
okay.
stumble out into thin air behind this little gnome as he's like leaning over and he's like, and he like looks over the edge again and he waves to you, Lucy. He's like,
I walk in.
Of course you do.
so you just like, so Lucy's like, okay, and just like walks straight through the door and just like walks up. You guys are both on the roof
How did we
now.
knock on it before? I need to know these things.
That's a great question.
Ask him.
And he like as you arrive, he's bustling away, and like you notice as you get up there, he's like short. He's a gnome, and he is like
round,
and
like
he
a little scale like
and he like
a penguin.
a little bit like a penguin, and like he has a robe, but it like he's got it like tucked into like the top of his socks, So it kind of like drapes around him, and then it does look like a
the
penguin.
catches the
So
air
it does
as he
look,
walks away.
yeah, it does look like a little penguin because he's walking with like these short little steps as he goes, and he's like, shh, come. He like waves you guys in. He's like, come. And you notice he doesn't look like he has like the complexion of a Maine Islander. He doesn't look like he's always lived on Junpui. Mm-hmm. So he leads you towards this tall box that has like a door in it, and like the box, it has like a slope, just like what you'd imagine an access to a roof would look like. And he walks up to it, and he just walks straight through the door. He kind of like bustles straight through the door, and the door just like you notice like it's not like in those movies where like there's like an illusion he passes through. It's like as he touches the door, as like a point of him crosses the threshold, he just stops being there.
All right.
Follow him.
Yes, I'm following him.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm meta.
As you no, you're good. As you approach the door, you hear in the distance just
I'm with
crash.
it now.
You just hear it just like
Uh-oh.
crash.
Oh.
You hear crashing further and further in the distance, moving. You're not entirely certain anymore. But. So you approach the door and you step in. You want to follow as well, Lucy?
Yep.
Okay. So as you as it's not like you're an illusion. As you walk through this door, like your eyes go completely white, and then after a second, you appear in this lavishly decorated office. It's like, Dumbledore's office from Harry Potter, but it's not lavish. It's filled with like stuff, and everything is like really nice looking. But after looking at everything is like weird potions on the wall, and there's like weird tumblers and like items that you've never seen before that you have no idea what their uses could be. And this little man is like bustling around behind like a large desk and like opening drawers, and he's like, yes, and he's like, welcome. And you notice that he doesn't have the same accent of the normal islanders, the Junpuians. He doesn't have like the Oriental style accent. But he is in the middle of rifling through his desk. What do you guys want to do?
I'll say,
Oh my god.
my name is Persephone. This is Lucy, and we were sent by the Archdrake to tell all of the academies and student wards, and we're making our way north towards the nobles and telling everyone to go to the, what do we call this area again?
Temple District.
The Temple District. In 3 weeks.
Yes.
Yes.
3 days.
3 days. 3 days?
3 days.
3 days, the cobalt will blow the city. So we're telling everyone to get out.
As he's doing this, he's like, as you're talking to him, he's like glancing up at you and like nodding, like an active listener, but he's like doing something entirely different. And he's like pulling like paper out of his desk and like adding a few to a stack, and he just like reaches up and like puts it in the air and then like pulls his hand away, and it's just not there anymore.
He's totally Merlin.
And he's just like, and he's like, ah, yes,
And I'm sorry,
yes,
what's your name? I didn't ask, I'm sorry.
And as you're talking, like, you're like, what's your name? He like interrupts. He's like, Hiboric. My name's Hiboric. Thank you. And he like just like shuffles around his desk, and he pulls out like this little like clay figurine, and he just like looks at it for a second, and he's like, yeah. And he just like throws it on the floor, and he like walks over and he like pulls a book out of his thing. He like just drops it, and he pulls another book out. And he just drops it. And he pulls a small scroll out. It's like a tiny little piece of paper, and he like and like puts it in his pocket. And like, he's like just like gathering stuff. He's like bustling around his room. You're not entirely certain. And he's like,
Who's left here? Can we help you get out?
out?
Yes, out.
Why would I need to get out? Why would I? And he like walks over and he opens a door that's not really there. And he reaches inside and like pulls out this broom. And like walks over. He's like, why would I need to get out? And he like walks over and he like kicks aside his chair just like I'm doing here. And he like reaches under his desk and like sweep. And like as he's sweeping, like this large book like slides out, like much heavier than the broom should be able to push. And he like picks this book up. And he like walks it over to that door that's invisible, and he like just like chucks it into this door and like slams it shut with his foot, and he just like kind of like bumbles off again. He's like, I've nothing to fear from this. It's not as though the temporal planes align in this moment. Anyway, I know that there's something going on in the city, but it doesn't bother me at all.
What about the rest of your people here? Are they gone?
Students?
Already?
Staff? Yes. Oh yes, I've sent them off in a way. They should be and he's like flipping through things, and like he's like, and he walks over to you, and he walks up to you, and he like looks at, he grabs your clothes a little bit, and he's like, he walks over, and he walks up to Lucy's armor, and he like looks at it, and he like ting ting, and he like pulls. It's the weirdest thing. He pulls like a chunk of your armor like completely off. Like, it completely detaches itself.
Like a separate piece?
Yeah, it shouldn't be. It's it's the same piece of metal, and he just, like, pulls this leaf-sized piece of armor off, and he looks at it, and he kind of bites it a little bit, and he's like, yes, and he, like, puts it right back on, and it, like, goes back into place where it's supposed to be. And he's like, yes, and he's, like, looking at you guys, and he's, like, moving back and forth. He's, like, kind of walking.
I like him.
And he's like, yeah, I have no need of going to Temple District. That Master Archdrake is very kind to offer me assistance, but I have no need of him. And
so you'll be able to leave without... Right. But you'll be able to leave without it being a bother for you.
he, like, walks up, he's like, leave? Why would I need to leave?
Where will you go then? If there are Slod overrunning the city and it's blown up in 3 days.
He, like, it stops now, and he, like, looks at you, and he, like, puts his hand on his face, girl, who do you think I am?
I don't know.
Where do you think we are? When do you think we are? And he walks over to his window, and he opens the window. And as you look out the window, you notice it's like the deep snowy mountains.
All right, then I guess we won't worry about you.
Yeah, and he like closes the window and like walks back to his desk, and he continues like pulling things out.
Do you have anything which we might be able to use against the Slod? Or can you help us at all?
Slod.
A blue Slod just went through some buildings over there, and we'll probably come across it again. And we still need to make our way to the Artisans Guild. And the inventors after that.
Yes, the guilds of Junpui, they're very efficient. They're brilliant minds. Yes. He's like just kind of like fiddling, and he like stops and he looks at you and he goes, you said Slod, correct?
Correct.
Oh dear. And he like turns around and he like walks over and like he reaches up on like this blank wall and pulls something that's not there down. And then he like moves it over to this other shelf, and he like begins rearranging this shelf. And as you do, there's nothing. He's not doing anything. There's just a wall here, and he's just like moving stuff around. And then, but as he touches things, they appear and then disappear. He walks over to another wall and like takes something from this, and he stops for a second. And he goes, "The slaughter free. That's bad. That's really bad. Oh yes, a long time from now, the Archdrake and I." We take the Slod Heart and we place it in a supposedly a time stasis. It should be frozen and completely isolated from our plane of existence. But if it's been freed, then obviously this must be where it comes from. But where could it? And he like stops for a second, and he like for a second there, his hat is different, and then you realize that he didn't have a hat on before, and then suddenly his hat's gone again. And he just like is like thinking about things, and he like and he like starts and he begins like walking over again, and he pulls out and he reaches up to a shelf, and he pulls out this large red glowing gem, and he looks at it and he's like, you mean this? And like a bubble appears around this large red gem, and he goes and he like sets it on the table, and like even though it's perfectly round and this table is not even at all, it stays perfectly in place.
Isn't it true that whoever controls the Slod Heart can prevent more Slod from being
conjured?
Yes, conjured out of it?
Well, it's conjuration isn't the right word precisely for what you're trying to express, but for the purposes of what you're saying, no.
How did you get
Then
Because it's when, not where.
When did you get the heart?
so
Now.
Now. I love him.
is this the current Slod Heart, or did you pluck one from another when?
With the transplanar stones, it's not exactly the same. And you notice as he's speaking, like his accent is changing a little bit. and it's kind of like weird. It's kind of weird. Like it's not hard to understand him ever, but like his accent is changing, and like his skin tones are changing. Like sometimes he's more tan, sometimes he's like super pale, sometimes he has like red skin, like he has a sunburn, and like it's just like subtle, and like it's like between blinks of your eyes as he's doing this. And he looks at it, and he's like, slow down. And he talks to himself, and he like and he settles, and he walks over to this chair. This chair is like the only thing in the office that like he kicked it out of the way a couple of times, but like it's not moving, it's not changing or anything. Everything else is kind of like, and he like sits down in this chair, and as he does his whole manner like completely shifts, and he gets like a little bit of a grizzly beard, and his hair turns a little whiter, and he's wearing like these golden, deep gold, not like color, but like actual depth of cloak that is like around him, and like they settle around his hands as he sits down, and he sits down, and he I apologize, I get so into my mind sometimes. My students from Junpui and your time are safe. They're gone, they're safe. Anybody who enters my tower is nothing to fear from wherever they might have entered my tower, but I appreciate the advice, and I appreciate the urging to leave. However, the Slodheart being free in your time is, and as he does, he suddenly has this book in front of him. And he like flips the page and looks at the page, and suddenly the book is gone. And it's like that fast. And he, not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. And he like is looking, and he has like a pair of spectacles on, and he's like looking around the room for a moment, and yes, things are getting strange when you are. It's...
Indeed. The Archstrike, I think, is dying.
Dying?
Yes.
Hitomi is injured? And he looks... And he like, kind of squints for a moment, and then he opens his eyes wide.
Death
He looks a
slot.
little surprised. Yes, I've seen it.
And the blind eye.
This blind eye?
Yes, and then I'm going to show him.
What is that? He looks at your tattoo, and he like, come closer, child.
Okay.
And he pulls your shirt back a little bit so we can see it, and he like gingerly touches it, and as he touches it, you feel this like warm, like probing something pushing into your skin a little bit as his finger touches it, and he like, that's quite.
Archstrike said an aboleth has awakened.
Yes, well, there are many aboleths. Their natural plane is the plane of water, but that doesn't explain this. More likely, the aboleth has been enslaved or enthralled or is serving some other more powerful, more abstract master. I'm not entirely certain. The last thing we did, and like he stands up again and he walks over, and like as he does, like his clothes change again and things start like changing on him once more, his skin tone and his hair and his eyes, and he pulls out this scroll and he like lays it down, and as he lays this giant scroll down and like flattens it out on like this bumpy, rough hewn table, it's like a grid, right? And it's very similar to what the illusion that the Archdrake showed you before, and it's got like all these tiny little circles in like a square pattern on it. And he points out this one, and as he touches this scroll, this little globe glows red, and it like appears above this thing. This is us now, or more accurately, this is you then, and this is where you'll return to when I send you back. And then as he points, he's like this, and like all of like these yellow orbs appear above along like the row, and he shows you all of this, and this is all the alternate times and whens and wheres and events that may happen, all the alternate worlds that you might have. If you made a different choice, instead of becoming a glamorous magician, you would have ended up as a ruler of several lands. Or in this one, you end up dead on a horse accident. And he points to you, and he begins like listing some other like worlds. And after a few minutes, he's like stops. And he's like, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. And he like stops, and then he like waves his hand, and like all the globes like disappear, all the yellow ones, and then from the columns suddenly like spring up. And he said, now these worlds, and each globe is a different color, and a different shape. They're not actually globes, and they're constantly changing. And these are more abstracted versions of your same world. See, in the planes, and like this row appears again, you can sort of travel between them. They have a level of continuity. They exist within each other's sphere of influence. And this, and the column appears again, this does not. And until now, I don't believe that there's ever been a way to transfer a person or an item between those angles, and things get weird. And when the time and space change along this axis, and he stops and he sits down in his chair again, and he says, "Well, if your world has been altered by one from the columns instead of the rows, it's probably not anything that I'll be able to predict. There are some things that you can know about whens and wheres, and this isn't one of them. This is more dimensions than you reasonably know how to comprehend, than I can reasonably explain and also have no influence over. And he stops and he sits for a moment, and he just kind of like closes his eyes, and I cannot see anything that you speak of. No blind eye, no corrupted aboleth. I can only see into your now, but not your then. He falls silent.
What? Oh.
Falcon wants to know, even though it's not here.
I missed it.
Valken's
Is
meta-pigeoning her the information of trying to ask about cure for
Can
slaughter.
you see if there is a cure for the slod illness?
Oh, the corruption.
Yes.
Oh.
Running people into tadpoles.
Sometimes. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
There are times when there can be remedy for the corruption of the aberrations known as the slot eye, but it's rare and difficult to come by. In your world, in your when, in your place, I can't see whether there will be one or not. There can be. I see that there are people and places and things that may be combined to have it happen, but it's different every time, and it depends on the slot and the infection. It depends on the corruption and how it spreads. And his eyes are kind of like glazed over for a moment, and he like kind of seems taken aback, and well, that's abrupt.
What?
The corruption, it spreads incredibly swiftly.
Yes.
It should be days, months, sometimes, before the slot hatch. It shouldn't be moments. That's...
Yes. It's quite accelerated then.
Yes, very accelerated and very gruesome. Most of the time, it's just like and the person remains the same. And you guys actually get a glimpse of like the actual like the scene from Alien, like the literal scene, and it pops away.
Like the literal scene?
The literal scene.
Oh, cool.
And he's standing there, and he's sort of a little like, and he just shakes his. I'm sorry, child. I don't know if I can.
Oh.
Child, you've been referred to. The Archdrake referred to you as a child as well, hasn't he?
I think so, yes.
Yes. You just have one of those faces, I suppose. And he's just like this fat little man. He's like and he gets up and he begins bumbling about, and he goes, "Well, I see that there's not much more I can tell you, or not much more of information that you'll be able to use. You may ask any other questions you like, if you suppose. I don't know if I'll be able to give you coherent answers, but I'll certainly try if you're willing to listen." And he begins like rearranging his office again.
Is there anything else we could use to fight the slot in the city right now while we're here, or anything, any objects you might have in the academy?
He like, as he's rearranging, he like stops and looks at you. And he kind of like stares.
No.
And he just like, The temporal distortion of this place means that objects may come here as I desire them, but I cannot let you leave with any of my possessions. I apologize, but there's so many things in this tower of mine, and suddenly you get this sense of you're up really high. You guys don't, like, he closed the window that showed to outside, but suddenly, like, you get this wild sense of vertigo and, like, this sort of dizziness of, like, holy shit. And you realize this thing, it's gotta be hundreds and hundreds of stories, small stories into the sky.
What was he doing there in the city?
He was teaching, remember?
He's a teacher.
What was he teaching?
The students of Junpui.
No, not who. What
Arcane.
was he teaching?
Magic.
Magic.
Yes.
He's the teacher of magic.
Have we asked them if there like are other people there or like?
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
all the students are gone.
He said the
Yeah,
students
okay.
and the staff are already gone.
Yeah.
And he's not worried about it, evidently.
Okay.
Then perhaps it's time we bid you farewell then.
Yes, wait!
Oh.
Wait. And he, like, walks over to his drawers and he, like, you can't have any of my things. And he, like, rifles through.
This isn't mine.
He rifles through things and
we took from students.
he walks over and he hands each of you 6 small circlets. They're just like a simple silver circlet on a string, like a black string, and he hands each of you 6. So you have 12. You have 6, and you have 6, and he thrusts them into your arms. You'll get these. You'll get these. These are not mine. These are you'll know. And as you do, you suddenly like where you guys are standing in his office, you like suddenly start moving backwards. You're standing still, but, like, you're, like, being conveyor belted out, and the door, like, opens, and he's like, it was a pleasure meeting you. I hope you all have a good day, and, don't die. You have your wits and your wiles and your weapons, and, don't mind the circlets. They'll be fine, and I hope that you can, handle things well. And he's still, like, bumbling about, and, like, he's getting more and more erratic, and the further you move away from him,
He's my favorite.
the less and less he's making sense. You still understand all the words he's saying, but he's speaking faster and faster, and he's moving, not like at a brief pace, but he's like moving at like, or not like supernaturally fast, but he's moving at like this frantic, like, and then like the door like begins swinging shut, and then like as it's about to close past his face, you see him like right at the door, and he's like standing there, and the door like closes, and he's just like, God's help you. And the door closes. And you are back on the rooftop in Junpui.
He seemed pretty serious there at the end.
Yeah. Okay. So then we're gonna. What?
Sarah's sleeping.
Oh,
She missed it.
yeah.
I'm trying.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's pretty late.
Is it?
Well, I'm very.
Oh, that's still
Get
early.
up at.
Yeah,
It's late for Sarah.
and I have to get up.
You're badasses. You guys got this.
Are you gonna like take care of the children in the morning?
No, I'll just leave them to die.
I mean,
You may take
I
care of
have to
them.
make breakfast and I have to go to beta shift
What time's the shower?
too. So we're gonna have to meet like in town to go to Jersey.
Oh. What the fuck else? Okay, we'll deal with it.
I'll figure it out.
So you are on the rooftop in Junpui.
Can we?
No time has passed. You get this
Great.
strange sense of like you just stepped through the door, and now you are back. You are just facing the other direction. Literally,
You still
it's
hear,
literally.
you still hear this slot like making the same sounds. As
You do hear the slot making the same sounds. You actually hear your last footstep moving through the door, and you feel your bodies moving through the door. Like you arrived back, like partially through the second that you were leaving. It's that narrow a window. Like there is literally no time displacement at all,
Weird.
and you go back
Oh, right.
right as either of you.
Then,
It's a very strange experience.
from where we are on the roof, can we see across to see where the blue slot is while we're up high?
Yeah. So you move to the other end of the. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Okay. Ow.
As you look out over the large green behind the building, it's like a large, it's almost what you'd imagine like a Quidditch court to be without the Quidditch rings. It's like a large arena, and there's like big grass, although there's like dents and divots with places that are burned out. It's like very obviously where the students go to practice and train using their more destructive arcane powers. You don't see the blue slot anywhere, but you do see several destroyed buildings and blood and debris. You don't see the slot, though, although it does look like there has been slot here recently. You can hear a bunch of crashing. This is still a war zone, and so it's still a mess.
Right.
You're not entirely certain where the specific blue slot that you were engaged with is now, though.
Okay. Then we climb down from the roof.
Yes, you may.
Let's do that. Lucy.
Yep.
Are you just about finished, love?
Acrobatics,
And then I think, should we stop?
This is a good
Sarah's
spot.
falling
Spot.
asleep.
spot.
We're not in action.
Okay.
So we'll start back
Pause.
right here or something.
Sounds all right to me.
Closer to where we need to go.
You got a couple places.
It's almost
to go.
exactly 2 hours, so that's a pretty good
Yeah.
stopping
Pretty
point.
good.
Okay, well, good session. That was weird.
Weird.
I mean, not weird, just,
Not what you expected to happen, or?
It's never what it is.
I totally played the character totally different than...
Oh, then you.
I made up a whole bunch of what I wanted this character to be like just now.
I liked him.
I used my favorite.
Your very favorite?
My very favorite character you've introduced so far.
I'm a little sad about that.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Not Master,
sad.
just Tiboric.
Maybe
Well,
sometimes
isn't he a
you're more
teacher?
impulsive.
He is a teacher.
Wouldn't that be a master?
That's not what he said.
Professor?
Your instincts were just that right on.
I
More
guess.
so than you're planning.
Yeah. I had very little on him. But... well, I had very little on him in that way.